Hey guys, Matt Guzman here, back with another video, and today is going to be about how to get the scholarship merit badge. So the thing about this merit badge is actually pretty simple. There's only 5 requirements, so as long as you know what you're doing, you can easily knock this out within 1 or 2 days. So moving on to the first requirement, number 1 says to do one of the following. The first option, 1A, says to show that your school grades have been an average of a B or higher for one term or semester. But if your grades aren't that high, you can always do the second option, which is to show for one term or semester that you have improved school grades over the previous period. So if you have higher grades, you can do A, where you can show that your grades have maintained a B average or A average or higher, and option B is for people that are struggling, but you can improve and show that you have improved. Moving on to number 2, it says to do 2 of the following, and there's 4 options, and it's kind of lengthy, so I'll just say them all. 2A says to make a list of educational places located where you live, and then visit one and report on how you use the place for self-education. So I chose that one as my first option. The places, a couple of the places I wrote down was a place called Edge, which is like a Catholic church where they teach they teach young teenagers about like God and Catholicism and stuff. And the other place I chose was the FIT, Florida Institute for Technology. I chose that because not only did I go there, but it's like a school for engineering, but I went there for a merit badge university. And if you don't know what that is, that's where like they offer a merit badge that you can knock out within a day. So I chose one of the harder ones, which is environmental science. If you don't know what that is, I have a link in the description below for that video. And then for Edge, I spoke there talking about Boy Scouts and why people should join, in hopes that I would get some kids to join my Boy Scout troop. So in here I talked about the benefits of joining scouting. I was saying how it was different from Cub Scouts where you were independent and it was scout-led, which means the adults aren't doing everything for you. An example I used was the Pinewood Derby, where if you don't know what that is, you have a wood block and then you like cut it and shape it to form a car and then you race it down a wooden ramp. And it sounds fun, but in actuality, like your dad cuts it and then like the scoutmaster weighs it, and then instead of you doing the customizations, they're doing it, and then they take the car away from you and they race it on the ramp. And that's not it's fun, but once you start getting older and like 10 or 11, it starts to get boring. So in the Boy Scouts, you're doing these things independently on your own, and that's what I was talking about, saying how we do much more a lot of events like swimming, camping, hiking, fishing, a lot more stuff like that. And we're doing it with the Scoutmaster's advice instead of the Scoutmaster doing everything for us. So that's how I was talking about how Boy Scouts work and why they should be joining my troop and why it would be a good experience for them. 2B says, with your counselor's approval, interview 2 professionals with careers and find how their education and training has prepared them for the career that they chose, and how they continue to educate themselves. 2C says, using a daily planner, show your counselor how you keep track of assignments and activities, and then discuss how you manage your time. So if you're like unorganized and you're not really good with keeping track of things, this would be a good one for you. You can use a daily planner and organize how you do things and manage your time efficiently. 2D, which is the second option I did, says to discuss advantages and disadvantages of different research for assignments. And that'd be like a library, books, periodicals, and the internet. So in a second I'm going to talk about how I did this requirement, but that's asking like for a library, if you go to the library, what's good about it and what's bad about it. If you're looking up in research for an assignment, how would the internet be of use to you, stuff like that. So this is the Library of Congress. It has a lot of information about things, like almost everything that's published in the US gets stored in here. But it's kind of like when you go in the library and they have that catalog of everything they have, this is kind of like that, except for like the US. So it can count for both the library and the internet part, but it has like a lot of different subjects on what you could search up, and it has a search bar too if you're trying to search over a specific thing. So if I go to search up, let's see, let's just look up Little Woman. That's an old book, and let's see who it's made by. You can scroll down and see all the options for the search results of Little Woman. So it's by Louisa Alcott, and I actually went to her house over the summer, and the reason that we went there is because my sister wanted to see it, and when we went there, we got the book as well. So you can search up a lot of things. There's a lot of formats to like optimize your search to get like specific results, and this is good because this is like actual stuff that's like it's legit. It's like if you need information, this is where you could go to get actual information. So you can see you can search up things like books, periodicals, webpage, newspapers, manuscripts, film and videos, audio recordings. There's all kinds of stuff that you can do. So just be careful when you're looking up stuff on the internet because a lot of it isn't true. A lot of people like write stuff, like those teachers go like, "Don't look up stuff on Wikipedia." But I mean, sometimes Wikipedia can be helpful. Just don't over rely on it. You need to look on multiple sources. That's the same for anything. For whether it's a periodical or a book, you should always look in things like on multiple sources. So yeah, you just talk about the disadvantages and advantages of each and see how that like applies. So yeah. Alright, moving on to 3, says to get a note from a school principal and administrator that states that your behavior, your leadership, and your service has been satisfactory. So an example would be a report card. It shows your grades, your classes, your GPA, your behavior. So that's what I did. In a second, I'm going to show my report card, but you don't even need a report card. You could just like get a note from your principal or an administrator. They can like look at your classes and stuff and just like give you a note. But an easier thing would probably be just getting your report card for that term. And here's mine. The 7 classes I have is Algebra 2 Honors, Keyboard 1, which is Piano, U.S. History Honors, English 2 Honors, TV Production 2, Chemistry 1 Honors, and Digital Media 1, which is Photoshop. And as you can see, my grades are all A's, so that's that checked off. My credits, that's my leadership, how much I've done, and that I've earned those credits. And behavior is satisfactory, which is the highest. So that's all you need to do for that. Just get like a report card of some sort or a note. Number 4 says to do one of the following. This has 2 options. The first one says to show that you took part in an extracurricular school activity, and then discuss with your counselor the benefits of participation and what you learned about the importance of teamwork. 4B, which is the one I chose, says to discuss participation in a school project in the past semester where you were in a team, and then tell about positive contributions you made to the team and the project. So in my school, I'm part of TV production, as I said earlier, and they make like promotions, commercials, and news for the school. And recently, about a month ago, our studio stopped working, so we had to buy stuff for a new studio. And as that stuff was coming in and getting installed, we switched to doing weekly shows instead of daily shows. And this happened during the end of March and beginning of April, so we decided to do a April Fool's special. Positive contributions, it was April Fool's. That I made to the team, I was the cameraman, and the project I helped in making, I helped in the layout of the news. So, like, what was going to be said and how the camera angles were going to be. So, just something like that. Moving on to 5, which is the last requirement. Like I said, a simple merit badge. The first one says to write a report of 250 to 300 words that discusses how education you receive in school will be of value to you in the future, and how you will continue to educate yourself in the future as well. 5B, which is the one I did, says to write a report of 250 to 300 words that describes 2 careers that interest you, and specific classes and good scholarship, how those will help you achieve your career goals. So, basically, this is just saying that pick 2 careers, give like background information about them, why you'd be interested, and what you're doing right now to help you advance towards those careers. So, like mine talked about being an animator for stop motion animation, and being an editor for like anything, like a magazine editor, video editor, cover editor. But yeah, it's just something like that, and then you find out information about that career and specific classes. Like I said, I'm in TV production, and to do that I also had to pass a certification exam for an editing software, Adobe Premiere Pro, so that's good for an editor. For stop motion animation, on my main channel, Matt Guzman, I used to do stop motions all the time, so that's something I did as well. But I'm also in a Photoshop class right now, so that'd be helpful too. Also that I got certified in Photoshop, so that's going pretty well. Thank you for watching my video on how to get the Scholarship Merit Badge. Like I said before, it's a simple merit badge. If you know what you're doing, you can knock it out within a day or two. I hope this how-to video has been helpful. If you enjoyed it, please like the video, turn on notifications, and look up for any other merit badge videos or rank requirement videos I have in the future. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.